Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most mysterious creatures in all of folklore. Atmospheric, mysterious music begins. The world feels smaller than it used to, doesn't it? Every corner of the globe seems mapped, photographed, and uploaded. We've explored the deepest trenches of the ocean and the highest mountain peaks. We tell ourselves that the age of monsters is over, that the dragons, the krakens, and the great beasts of legend were nothing more than the fireside fears of our ancestors. But what if I told you that some of these monsters were not myths at all, but real, living creatures that walk this earth? And what if I told you they might not be gone? We live in an age of extinction. The passenger pigeon, the Tasmanian tiger, the western black rhino, all gone within the last century or so, vanished forever. We have their bones, their skins, sometimes even faded photographs. We know they were real. But history is filled with accounts of other creatures, far stranger and more terrifying, that science has declared extinct for millions of years. These are the titans of prehistory, the mega-predators of a lost world. Officially, they are nothing but fossils locked in stone. But from the darkest jungles to the most remote oceans, whispers persist. Eyewitnesses come forward with stories that defy explanation, describing encounters with animals that should not exist. Are these mere cases of mistaken identity? Are they elaborate hoaxes or the products of overactive imaginations? Or could it be that in the vast, unexplored pockets of our world, ancient life has found a way to survive, hidden from the prying eyes of science? Today, we're not just looking at myths. We're investigating 4 officially extinct monsters that might, against all odds, still be alive. We'll examine the fossil record, dive into historical accounts, and analyze the most compelling modern sightings. Prepare to question everything you think you know about extinction. Hash number 4. The megalodon asterisk, sound of deep ocean waves, ominous underwater sonar pings. We begin in the abyss, the dark, crushing depths of the ocean where sunlight never reaches. It's a realm less explored than the surface of the moon, and it's here that our first monster is said to lurk. Carcharockel's megalodon asterisk. The name itself means big tooth, and it's a chilling understatement. This wasn't just a shark, it was the asterisk shark. A predator that could reach up to 60 feet or 18 meters in length with a bite force powerful enough to crush a car. Its jaws, wide enough to swallow 2 adults side by side, were lined with over 270 serrated teeth, some over 7 inches long. For millions of years, Megalodon was the undisputed apex predator of the ancient seas, feasting on whales and other large marine mammals. Fossil evidence tells us Megalodon went extinct around 3.6 million years ago, likely due to a cooling climate and the disappearance of its primary food sources. For paleontologists, the case is closed. But is it? The ocean is vast, and we've only explored a tiny fraction of it. Believers, often called cryptozoologists, argue that a creature so successful could have adapted. They suggest that Megalodon may have retreated into the deep ocean, like the mysterious Greenland shark, which can live for over 500 years in the frigid, dark waters of the North Atlantic. The evidence for its survival is tantalizing, if controversial. In 1875, the HMS Challenger dredged up 2 massive megalodon teeth from a depth of over 14,000 feet in the Pacific Ocean. A manganese dioxide dating method, used at the time, suggested they were only 11,000 to 24,000 years old, a far cry from 3.6 million. While modern scientists have heavily disputed this dating method, arguing the slow rate of manganese buildup in the deep sea makes it unreliable, the finding continues to fuel speculation. Then there are the sightings. In the 1960s, an experienced Australian fisherman, Val Goleman, claimed a monstrous white shark, easily over 80 feet long, surfaced near his boat, so large it dwarfed his 50-foot vessel. He was so shaken he refused to return to those waters. Other accounts from fishermen and sailors over the decades tell similar stories of impossibly large sharks that defy the known limits of the great white. However, the scientific community remains deeply skeptical. A predator the size of Megalodon would have a massive metabolism and require an immense amount of food. Scientists argue that the deep ocean simply doesn't have a dense enough population of large prey, like whales, to sustain a breeding population of these giants. Furthermore, if they were still around, we would expect to find their massive, recently lost teeth on the ocean floor, yet we don't. While the idea of a 60-foot shark patrolling the abyss is a terrifying thought, for now, Megalodon remains a ghost of the past. Hash number 3. The Tasmanian tiger asterisk, sound of wind blowing through a desolate landscape. A faint, yipping animal call from the depths of the ocean, we move to the rugged wilderness of an island continent. Our next creature is not a prehistoric titan, but a modern marvel of evolution. The thylacine, better known as the Tasmanian tiger. It wasn't a tiger or even a cat. It was the world's largest carnivorous marsupial, a truly unique creature with the head of a wolf, the stripes of a tiger, and a pouch like a kangaroo. It had an eerie, stiff-legged gait and a jaw that could open to an almost unbelievable 120 degrees. For thousands of years, it was the apex predator of Tasmania. Its extinction is not a matter of ancient history. It's a modern tragedy. The last known thylacine, named Benjamin, died alone in a concrete enclosure at the Hobart Zoo on September 7, 1936. European settlers, fearing for their livestock, had placed a bounty on the animal, hunting it to the brink of extinction. Benjamin's lonely death marked the official end of a species. But what if the officials were wrong? Ever since 1936, the sightings have never stopped. There have been thousands of reports, not just from Tasmania, but from mainland Australia as well, where the thylacine was thought to have died out 2,000 years ago. These aren't just blurry photos or vague accounts. They come from park rangers, police officers, and seasoned outdoorsmen. In 2017, a group of scientists set up dozens of camera traps in North Queensland after receiving what they called plausible eyewitness reports. In 2019, the Thylacine Awareness Group of Australia released trail camera footage that they claimed showed a family of thylacines, including a juvenile. Skeptics, however, quickly identified the animals as paddymellons, a type of small wallaby, arguing that wishful thinking was turning common animals into a lost species. The most compelling argument for the thylacine's survival is the environment itself. The Tasmanian wilderness is vast, rugged, and sparsely populated, a perfect hiding place for a shy, nocturnal predator. Mainstream science, however, remains unconvinced. Despite thousands of reports and numerous searches, there has never been a single piece of undeniable physical evidence. No body, no hair, no unambiguous DNA. As biologist Nick Mooney, who has investigated hundreds of sightings, stated, there's no scientific evidence to support the idea that the thylacine still exists. Still, the hunt continues, driven by hope and the guilt of a preventable extinction. Hash number 2. The Mapinguari asterisk, sound of a dense jungle, insect calls, a loud guttural roar in the distance now. We journey to the heart of the Amazon rainforest, the largest and most biodiverse tropical rainforest on Earth. It's a place where entire ecosystems exist in the canopy, and uncontacted tribes still live in voluntary isolation. It is here, according to local legend, that a terrifying beast known as the Mapinguari roams. Ancient texts aren't needed here. The stories are passed down through generations of indigenous people. They describe a creature over 7 feet tall, covered in thick, matted reddish fur that makes it almost impervious to bullets and arrows. It walks on 2 legs, has long, sharp claws like an anteater's, and lets out a roar so foul it can disorient and paralyze its victims. Most bizarrely, many legends claim it has a gaping, odorous mouth in the middle of its stomach. For centuries,